pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, as is our custom, I would like to ask for a moment of silence for our departed members and friends and neighbors and all those who are suffering throughout the world.
I can't hear you.
Okay, I'd like to have a moment of silence for our departed members and friends and for all those suffering throughout the world. All right. The roll call of the members of the board.
Michael Messina is absent. Ed Whitman,
Present.
Mary Adler, Carol Butterworth,
Present.
Charlie Rock.
Present. Okay, as you may have noted, Mike Messina's on a well-deserved vacation. He's cruising in the Caribbean somewhere. So, we'll try to do justice to Mike this morning. We'll now record the approval of the minutes from the last meeting on February. I'll ask for it. Okay, can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I make a motion to approve the February 20th, 2025 open board meeting minutes.
Can I have a second?
I second it.
All right, all those members in favor, say aye. 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 The motion carries. Today we have basically two additional motions. Well, we just approved the minutes. Normally, there's a threshold of $15,000 for a vote to approve an expenditure. But this is to memorialize a decision. Today's motion is that it deals with the safety of our community. Emergency vehicles need to get into our community quickly. So this is a change in the radio frequency that will allow emergency vehicles to press a button on their dashboard and have our gates go up. So we need to change the 3 gates, the Whitesville, the Massachusetts, and the Maine gate, so that they can have immediate access. And the expenditure for this is about $3,000, give or take. So we like to make a motion to adopt this new frequency code. Do I have a motion to
I
approve?
propose for the upgrade of the radio frequency equipment at all gate entries by emergency vehicle radio receivers as per Tom's Rivers request, maintenance to be performed by Control Systems Incorporated for $2,921, that's including tax. Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
All those in favor say aye. 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 The motion carries. And the third motion has to do with the revision of the docs and policies and the legal fees appropriate to those revisions. Those legal fees came to about $5,750. So do we have a motion to approve expenditure of money for the revision of our docs and policies?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I second that.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Okay, that's it for the motions. Now this comes as a matter of plea. Historically, in the past 3 years, there's only been one single new applicant for the board, and that was Carol 2 years ago. Anyone interested in applying to be a board member should expect to be volunteering between 10 to 12 hours per month minimally, with the majority of the hours being daytime hours. In addition, applicants can be assured of multiple phone calls each week for things that pop up. At present, Mike Messina has logged in between 25 and 28 hours per month in responding to the demands of his office. That's the good part. We'll skip over the bad part, but the basic bottom line is this. Please, if you have any interest whatever in serving this community, please submit your name to run for the board. We get a lot of calls from people who are more or less critical of the board, and not enough people who are willing to actually do the work to make those criticisms moot. So, again, please, we have a dearth of candidates for the board, and we need more people. We need more people in most respects, for most committees. The Grounds Committee, for example, needs new members. So please, consider volunteering. And in spite of what it may sound like in terms of tedious detail and meetings and hours spent, you do learn something that you wouldn't otherwise know by being a member of the board. It's a challenging and in its own way a very rewarding experience. So please, again, consider putting your name in to serve. Another item. We're getting ready for a new pool season, and a couple of weeks ago there was a repair of 170 linear feet of the white expansion joints. Between the concrete pads out there, there are those white expansion joints being plastic and exposed to the sun 365 days a year. Those plastic deteriorate and they create a trip hazard. So we're repairing those section by section, and we've done 170 feet around the pool deck. Several areas were identified as trip hazards at the end of last season. These areas have been addressed in an effort to make the deck safer. So that's what I've just done as the president's section. I'll now turn to the vice president's. That's my own report. As liaison to the Grounds Committee, I can report that the Grounds Committee had issued 60 work orders over this past year in 2024. So we've been busy. Secondly, I want to thank in absentia Bob Eagle and his wife Esther. Bob served loyally and faithfully and very well on both the Grounds and the Art committees for many years. I wouldn't say how many, because I don't know, but he was the historian. Anything came up in discussions of the Grounds Committee and its policies, Bob was the guy you went to for the answers, because he was there at the beginning. So we want to give Bob a good send-off and thank him for his many years of service to both ARC and Grounds. To replace Bob, and also we're authorized to expand our membership for new members. So the Grounds Committee, while not as demanding as the board, also needs new members. The Grounds Committee is responsible for work orders connected to the common areas, walkways, maintaining the good look of the community in terms of its common areas. ARC handles the private residences. Grounds handles the aesthetics of the community at large. The trees, shrubs, irrigation, the things that make our common areas look good. So please consider a membership there. That's a worthwhile undertaking. In connection with that, the Veterans Memorials around the front of the gazebo, right here as we enter the community there. Around the gazebo, we're going to install 5 memorials to the 5 veteran services. Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, and Coast Guard. So they're going to be put in and an appropriate design. Ed Miscavige is really heading that up, and
Thank you.
it seems Ed doesn't have enough really to do. He's got a lot of time on his hands, so he figures.
The pool's not open yet, that's why.
So Ed is doing that too, so. One thing that this breaks my heart to say this, but the vegetable garden has fallen into what is it? SAT word, desuetude. In other words, no one's taking care of the darn vegetable garden. This breaks my heart because I've been in charge of sort of assigning plots down there for years. And the vegetable garden has fallen to rack and ruin. And the grounds committee, considering the realities that to make it up to standard for Lake Ridge amenity, we'd have to spend more money than the number of people who would utilize it warrant. So let me put one thing. If you're interested in vegetable gardening down there, go down and take a look and see if you're still interested. If you are, contact me. If not, we might have to take up the recommendation voted unanimously by the grounds committee at the last minute to let it return to nature. An alternative possibility would be to turn over the jurisdiction over the vegetable garden back to the Garden and Environmental Club, from which it originally came. It wasn't originally a vegetable garden, it was a flower garden run by the Women's Club back in the old days. Well, it turned into a vegetable garden, and from there it went slowly downhill. So we don't know really what we're going to do with the vegetable garden, but if you're interested, let me know. There's plenty of plots down there. Excuse me, there are plenty of gardens. I'm advised that the term plot has a rather morbid association, so the gardens are there. And that's and I think that concludes my section of the report. I'll turn it over to the treasurer's report. Steve Agresta will deliver the treasurer's report because our actual treasurer, Mary Adler, is a little restrained. She can't make it up the steps.
Thank you, Ed. Good morning. I'm going to give the operating statement through the end of February. So the first part is the income statement of the operating fund. The operating fund is basically the fund that captures all of our income, the HOE fees and other types of income, fines, resale income, and then the expenses, which gives us our net profit or loss for the month. So for the 2 months ending February 28th, our net income of $65,813 was better than our budget of $27,902 by $37,911. So we had $37,000 more in income than we expected at the end of February. Principal factors that contributed to this favorable variance were income was better than actual due to the increased number of closings on home resales, which was 22,000 versus a budget of only 7,000, so we're $15,000 more favorable. That means we closed on 16 versus 5 in the budget. Now, that could just be a timing issue, but right now we're ahead of our planned number of resales. And there were also some other miscellaneous income in the fines and late fees, which I guess is not a good thing, fines and late fees, but we collected more than we expected to so far through February. Expenses were $14,710 better than budget. Our budget was $375. Our actual was only $360. So expenses were under budgeted due to lower than budgeted expenses in most areas and departments that we budget for, which you'll see, everybody sees in the newspaper, right, in the first page or on the bulletin board out here, it has all the budget line items and the actual. There was a partial offset due to some snow removal and road treatment costs, the salt that we put down in February for the snowfalls we had. So again, overall, we're ahead of our budget by $37,000. Balance sheet, as of February 28th, our cash and invested funds totaled approximately $2.959 million. Most of that is in the replacement fund, which had a balance of approximately $2.1 million. The funds are held and invested in CDs insured by the FDIC, in U.S. Treasury notes, and in money market funds. Some funds are held in cash. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, we'll now have the Secretary's report.
Thank you, Ed. Happy spring. It begins today. As board liaison for the Documents and Policy Committee, I'm happy to report that the revised bylaws are complete and now are being printed for all homeowners. Since this has not been done since 2006, when they were reviewed by our lawyers, the lawyers made some recommendations to comply with current law. So they now are complete and soon will be available. Regarding security, Toms River Public Works employees came through our Route 70 gate with our new garbage recycling cans on Monday, and they've been assembling them and delivering them, and they're finished today. So thank you all for putting up with not being able to park in the annex parking lot. So, but you can't use your garbage or recycling can until May 1st, because that's when our waste management contract ends. Some people are using them already, and you're not supposed to. And then after May 1st, your old ones will be picked up. Garbage is every Wednesday, and recycling will be every Tuesday, every other Tuesday, okay? I should speak to the election process, because I'm an example of it. I was originally elected by you, and everybody else on the board was appointed by a board when a vacancy occurred. So I would hope that many of you will do it the old-fashioned way and become elected. And of course, everybody should vote. We have to have a certain number of votes. And we need 3 candidates because these 3 are the ones who are up. I should say, I was elected by you in May of 2023. That ends this coming May, 2025. So do be sure to just follow the instructions. You answered 5 questions on that form that you were mailed, and then turn it into the office. The election committee takes it from there, okay?
Thank you, Carol. Now the directors at large report.
Hello, everyone. The new, upgraded, updated, new ARC books and the resident directory will be inserts in the May views. I want to remind you that all exterior projects require applications. The ARC committee requests that you check the condition of all painted surfaces, shutters, doors, garage doors, and if necessary, please make the upgrade and paint with one of the accepted paint chart colors which you can find in the office. Since January to the present time, over 50 applications have been turned in and processed. The gym committee, the damaged recumbent bike, new parts have been ordered to the tune of $1,300 to repair the bike. Please remember these bikes are rehab type bikes. They're not full cardio workout bikes. They're not designed for high-speed bicycle type pedaling. That's the reason that we had to go for $1,300 worth of parts, because some people, again, thought they were going to enter the Grand Prix in Paris. They're bikes, they're rehab bikes. And I know, because I go to the gym, there's many folks who really enjoy sitting on those bikes and at least getting the blood flowing a little bit. They're not meant to be, like I said, in a race. So, and they do cost between $3,200 and $3,500 to replace. So we opted for the parts at $1,300, and it will be like brand new. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Now Ray will deliver the manager's report.
Good morning, everyone. Just some brief updates here. Meticulous Landscaping started the spring cleanup on March 11th. They are back and forth working on some cleanups. What was put out and posted on an email yesterday that the first application of pre-emergent fertilizer will be next week on March 25th and 26th. And the MSDS sheets, the chemical sheets, are available at the office upon request. We also received the calendars for landscape maintenance. Right now we have April and May. The cuttings will start on April 7th, Tuesday, and they'll go Tuesday to Friday. We're trying to condense them this year. Of course, that is all weather permitting. We just finished up, and I got a communication at 9:30 this morning that Tom's River DPW, the guys, finished delivering all the cans out this morning. That was a pretty quick turnaround. We had 3 tractor trailers come in on Monday morning, and through the assembly and delivery, they got everything delivered. We did have them, and they did work with us as far as people with emergency conditions or snowbirds. They did deliver those cans to the back of the homes. As mentioned in previous emails, those the ARC restrictions on the backyard storage for those cans have been waived up until the time after the May 1st start date that we can dispose of the old cans. We will take a ride around this afternoon to make sure all the cans are placed in the back. Again, we ask, as before, that please don't use the new cans with Waste Management. Their pickup is different with the grappling hooks on this. It could damage the cans. The cans would then have to be reordered and paid for on an individual basis. The contract to Waste Management ends on May 1st. The township will start the week after, and after their first pickup, we will announce a date that they will come around and pick up the old cans should you decide to dispose of them. They figured that'll only take 1 day. We'll have to see, but this worked out pretty quick. We had received some concerns and complaints from some homeowners regarding the cans and the process coming up. talking to Tom's River, they just finished working with Greenbrier Woodlands. They took over there 2 years ago, and from what they said, we had the similar complaints and problems starting out, but after about 2 weeks, everything ran seamless. So we're optimistic that things will work out. We'll take it on a case-by-case basis, and we'll keep everybody informed of all the schedules going forward. Just on the proposed project here, the retaining walls, we are still working on that. I have 2 other engineering companies come to take a look so we can get some competitive bids. There is no timeline on the repairs. We would be looking at the Crestview Vicari Avenue wall first. Again, we are working with the engineers because on top of the wall, with the wood tie replacement, we would be putting in blocks, but also the landscaping removal on the top and bottom tiers of those fences have to be considered, and we have to figure out how to plan that, as most of those plantings are residential. As Ed mentioned, Quality First performed repairs on that 1,300 square foot area on the pool deck. That was where we had most of the complaints. We had a couple cut feet last year, 1 trip. Everything panned out very well, but however, for that 1,300 foot square area, comes out to about $2,500 with the labor and material. Some areas will take less, some areas will take more. But what we're working on now is putting that into a preventive maintenance schedule, have some more done probably in the fall, and then peter it out over the next couple of seasons till we can get the whole patio taken care of, but get the worst conditions first and try to work that into the budget. Precision Sports Courts was approved to perform crack repairs on the tennis court. They will be coming in mid-April to take care of that. That was a minor proposal of about $1,700 to get that done, and hopefully let the tennis courts, with the new drainage out there, where hopefully that holds up and we don't have to worry about cracks in the tennis courts on an annual basis. We did receive a proposal from a cut above to the landscaping around the annex building. That was in conjunction with the clubhouse cladding project. We are just polishing up the proposal from Jeff to what we expect to have installed over there. That will be assessed to the leftover funds from that project, and we're looking to start that once we've received an updated proposal and have the proper markups taken care of. We have been doing some preventive maintenance around the drain boxes and the detention areas with the rains and the winter debris. They've been blocking up with leaves. David has been out there cleaning out the outflow boxes after the rains. Some of them have been drying out on a 24-hour basis, which is acceptable. We do have some problem areas and are looking at proposals and plans to do annual preventive maintenance on these detention basin areas. The association audit is in progress for 2024. Our auditor, Wilkin & Good Plan, has received all materials they requested. They will now put together their draft, will be reviewed by our finance committee, and final board decision. That'll be brought up at a later board meeting. Just some updates on the financial side. The December, January maintenance fee payments that were missing or were never received, we have found out that it was through a glitch at the post office. We were receiving around 2 weeks ago, we started to receive return mail from the homeowners who mailed in their payments with the yellow label on there, insufficient address, unable to forward. The addresses on the statements and on the envelopes were correct. For some reason, they were turned around. They have assumed responsibility. Taylor, in the meantime, and people have been coming to the office, resubmitting those payments, and they're resubmitting any return mail or having those credited to the homeowner's account. We hope that we don't see this again, but that was a big concern coming into the beginning of the year. So we're still monitoring that. It slowed down drastically, and the records, everybody's records should be corrected going forward. One thing I did want to mention, as far as the cans go on the financial side, we will be billed the $95,000 for the new cans coming up within the next 30 to 60 days. This was the reason for the pass-through charge on everybody's account for $103.34. While the township doesn't seem to be overly concerned just yet, we are, as there are still about 45 residents who have not paid that fee yet. If for whatever reason it is recorded on the financial statements, the maintenance fee statements that go out April 1st. However, if it goes longer than that time, there will be a late fee assigned to that pass-through charge. Couple little happenings here. Back on March 5th, the staff found a dead seagull out around the pond. We coned off the area, and there was concern, as they've been finding dead birds around Monmouth and Ocean counties attributed to the bird flu virus. We made the proper notifications. The ladies reached out to the county health department, which didn't handle it, but they referred us over to the USDA. The USDA assigned us a case number. However, 2 weeks later, they still haven't been out, and we found a second gull. When we finally got a hold of, get a hold of USDA, we received an elongated voicemail message that said, with everything going on and with all the bird flu complaints coming in, that they will not respond to any reports of 20 or less birds being found on the property. Unless, of course, unless it's an eagle or a falcon, then they'll come out. They did suggest, however, and it was very helpful, that we put on rubber gloves, go out and dispose of the dead gulls in a plastic garbage bag, securely tie it and put it in our trash. David bravely went out there and removed the birds from our premises. They went out with the trash. We haven't seen anything in the meantime. Hopefully that's it for us. But we did put the warning out because they did say that it was that people and pets could pick up the illness from the dead bird carcasses, but we don't seem to be having any problems with that as yet. And we are, once again, the weather's getting warmer, we're receiving complaints regarding speeding vehicles coming in from the Whitesville and Massachusetts gates. Vehicles are speeding, not using turn signals, not stopping at stop signs. These deterrents are there for a reason, it's not a suggestion. Now that the weather's getting warmer, people are going to be out walking around, especially later on at night as it gets dark later. We ask everybody to drive responsibly. Please be careful out there. And mentioning walking, we do the asphalt project for Phase 5 out on Macquarie Avenue is tentatively postponed till 2026. However, we've been out there and walking the areas, taking notes on not only the stress fractures and cracks in the pavement, but also the walkways, and working out to get some sort of maintenance repair plan for that, because there are a lot of walkers out here. We want to make sure everybody's safe, so we are working on it as well. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ray. This concluding the business portion of the meeting. May I have now a motion to close the business portion and proceed to the questions? Get a motion?
I move to close this meeting.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye. 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 Thank you. All right, before we get to the questions and answers, I'd just like to make a comment to thank the attendees here. This is a pretty